Hi again, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Lisa with Candles by Sincerely Ice Blue. On this channel, we talk about making candles, the business of selling candles, and everything in between. And there's a lot of in between, let me tell you. If you like what we talk about today, don't forget to click on that subscribe channel, become part of the family. We have so much to talk about as I get started on this journey. And as you know, if you've been following along, I haven't been doing this that long, but long enough that I'm hoping I can share some tips and tricks and things with you. And one of those things that I want to talk about today is how do you do this in the space that you have? So in some of my other videos, we talked about using things that you have in your house. We've talked about time management. We've talked about the space in your head, but we really haven't talked about actual space. And what do you do when you have a small space, but you still want to start a business? So that's what we've got today. I like to say that one of my specialties is working with small spaces because the first house we had when we first got married was tiny, and then the next one was a step up, and the next a step up. And then I had a 2,400 square foot house in Avon Lake, Ohio, that when we moved to New Orleans in 2016, we moved from a big, spacious, 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath, 11 car driveway house to this shotgun house. And I don't know if you're familiar with New Orleans at all, but a shotgun house is literally a straight house. It is, there are no hallways, there are no closets, and it is really weird. And it's called a shotgun house, they say, because you can open all the doors, like all the doors in the house and the front door in the back room, and basically see or shoot a shotgun from the front of the house through the back of the house. And let me tell you, learning how to downsize your life was so eye opening. And it's a darn good thing that I have learned how to deal with space that I have. And when we moved a year ago, almost a year ago, from New Orleans to Texas, which is where I am now, and then we decided to start this business, we bought just a normal size house for my husband and I. And then we decided to start this business. And how do you do that with such a small space? So that's what I want to talk to you about today. And you can do it. And it's just a matter of obviously purging your life and getting rid of all of the stuff that you don't need, but how do you fit in what you have? So you'll see on all my videos, I'm always sitting in front of, not behind, this huge metal rack. And the room we're in is my office because I work remote for a company that I've been working for about 15 years out of Cleveland, Ohio, which is where we were from originally. And I've been lucky enough to continue working for them with a large account since moving. And so I have an office in our house, and I had to figure out how to utilize this space for all of the personal stuff we do. So, the normal things, paying bills and all that kind of stuff, my job, and now this candle business. So, the first thing we did is we installed this large wire rack that we got at Home Depot. And I want to say it was around 250 because the prices on things have gone up. Now, there is a place in my area, and you might have one called Restore. And I absolutely love them because it's a place where people donate things and furniture. And this bookshelf that is to my right, I actually got at the Restore. I'll turn the camera here so you can see it. This bookcase here is I've kind of got some personal stuff on the top, and then my bill paying stuff, and then my stuff from my day job on the bottom. But Restore is great. And I know that they have these wire racks from time to time. So I've had to organize my office to accommodate everything in regards to making candles and then all the packaging and things of that nature. Now, my husband works for a copier manufacturer, so I'm lucky enough to have a full-size color copier in my office, but it's company owned. But I just happen to have that here, so I'm able to do a lot of my own printing and such. But many families will have like a personal printer, which is absolutely fine. You can use a personal printer to get started in your business. So on this wire rack, staying organized is key. And I think if you watch my videos, you'll see that my background changes all the time because in order for me to make candles, I have to take whatever it is I need from this shelf, carry it into the kitchen and set it up. And one of the things we found to do that works well is just staying organized. So I have a lot of these smaller bins. I do keep some boxes, which I'm not a fan of keeping the cardboard boxes, but they're very functional and I didn't have to spend money on them other than what I bought. So trying and keep things labeled is key, or putting them in such a fashion that you can find things easily will be very helpful for you. So for me, I've got my fragrances here. I have these bins that I purchased at the dollar store, and again, labeling. So you can see I have these labeled as CD wicks or CDN wicks. I have another one with my Premier wicks in it. And then I have all my different jars sorted out. On the very top shelf, I have all of my different packaging supplies. So when I'm doing my candles, and we just had our first order yesterday, I had to deliver one for my husband's business. But our plan is to take our item or our candle and we wrap it up. It goes into a box. And then we put a thank you and a candle care card or whatever instructions go in the box with it. And then we seal that shut with a thank you sticker. And then that will go into a shipping box if we're shipping it. And one thing I'm going to tell you that I wish I had realized when I started buying supplies for my business is do not spend the money right away on all the little packing peanuts that go into the boxes, because as you order from Flaming Candle and Candle Science, you're going to see that everything you order comes with a ton of packing materials already in it. So don't buy it. I did buy a really big bag and it was only like, I want to say like $10 for 7 feet or something crazy of packing material. And if you hear ticking in the background, I apologize. That is my 14-year-old dog who's wandering aimlessly right now. But don't spend the money on the packing supplies because you're going to get a lot of that packing material. Some of the boxes you'll be able to reuse as well. So if you have space, and we've set aside space in the garage where I'll break down the boxes, and if I can take the labeling off and it's a small enough size, we'll reuse it. We also use some of those larger boxes for storage. And then also you can see I've got some of the cardboard boxes in here that I use for storage as well. So when you're trying to figure out how to use space, you're going to have to take a look around your house. And trust me, we all have space that we don't necessarily use. And maybe we've got something nice sitting there that is a knickknack or a nice table. But listen, you're doing your business. So sometimes I have to sacrifice that to be able to fit in what I need for my business. Now, you'll see in one of my other videos, I talk about all the supplies that you could use that you already own, plus some of the things you're going to start buying. And on my shelf, I've actually brought some of my kitchen supplies in here because I very rarely use like our double boiler. I think we use it literally only at Christmas. So rather than putting it back in the shelf, back in the corner where I had to literally lay on the floor and reach back, you have one of those cupboards. We all have one of those cupboards that things get lost in forever. That's where this was, and that's where this goes back to. So rather than do that, it's in my office now. But when we make candles, I have to carry all of what we need into the kitchen to make them. And you're going to find your own process for that. But when you put things in different containers and label them, you can carry them out. Another thing is to build yourself a nice system for filing And what I mean by that is you're going to have your tax receipts, you're going to have invoices that you've sent people. You need to track everything. You need to track your inventory. You need to track what you make, what you use, what you waste, what you sell, what you buy. And you're going to have to put together a system for that. It's very overwhelming if you don't. One thing I suggest is I've gone to the dollar store and just bought packages of these little manila file folders. And you can actually reuse these, by the way, which is nice. If you have stickers or like labels that you're putting on your candles, some of the times when you buy some of these jars, they come with these labels that you're probably not going to use for your file folders, or I mean, for your candles. I just cut them. And if I have a folder that I don't need anymore, I just flip it over and write on the inside or cross it out or whatever. They're also a great place to take notes. So on the insides of these, well, I'm dropping my own stuff. On the insides, you can actually write in them. So versus just taking notes on paper and then shoving them in folders or leaving them all on your desk, it's really good to use, again, I'm consolidating space, use up as much as you can. To my next point, if you can go paperless as much as possible, do it. You're not going to have to spend the money on paper, which is expensive and heavy, and storing it. But it's just less clutter for you. Less things for you to file, less things for you to have to find a home for. So if you're starting a business and there's all of this paperwork and such, you can take your receipts, you can scan them into your computer and workstations or whatever you have to work with. Don't shred it. I don't suggest shredding it because I don't know the laws in your state. Again, disclaimer, I am not the expert, but I know like my attorney has advised us to keep all the receipts, but we scan them in because then when I send it to him during tax time, I can just send him and forward him everything I have scanned already. I'm not waiting at tax time and scanning mountains of information over to him, but I can just take those receipts, I put them in an envelope, and I file them away. I don't have to worry about them again. So that's another thing if you're dealing with small space is, again, try and go paperless as much as you can. Okay, so what else do I have to help you with? Another thing I have is behind me is a little rolling cabinet. It's actually plastic on the sides and the little things inside are cloth, but it's nice because it rolls. And inside here, I have things like all of my dried flowers. I have a piece of wood. I have my labels, things that I'm going to use for taking pictures and when I'm packaging. So again, I told you I have to carry all of this out of my office when I'm making candles. But when I'm packaging, because I'm working in my office most of the time, I can roll this out. And it eliminates me having to carry armfuls of things and trying to figure out where to put things back to. So in my office here, which I'm going to show you in a moment, I actually have 2 desks, and then I have this big thing, and I have my bookcase and my little rolling thing and my copier, and my closet is nothing but things for my business and personal things like crafting, of course. So the desk I'm going to show you, I actually got at IKEA. It is fantastic. I can't fold it down right now because you're going to see it is just spread out. But when it's folded down, it's literally this big. And this big part has 3 drawers to it. And the drawers open from both sides. So it doesn't matter how I would set that up against the wall. And in our old house, I did have it up against the wall. Both of the sides open. So the desk is maybe 4 feet across when it's open. And on the one side I work on and I sit in my computer and stuff this is for my day job is all on this. But on the other side is all my paperwork. So if I'm dealing with a small space, it is a fantastic desk because I can open it while I'm working. And then if I need the space, I can completely put it down and it's only this big. So I'll show that to you. I also have a stand-up desk. And the stand-up desk is fantastic as well because if I'm working and packing and walking back and forth and doing things, I can raise and lower my desk to suit what I'm doing. And that's typically where I do my work for my candle business, but also packaging. And then also I work off of that desk for my personal things, paying bills and such. So let's take a tour at kind of all the other space that I'm using, and maybe I'll give you some ideas on how to use space at your house. Okay, so here we are. This is my stand-up desk, which is fabulous. And you can see it's just kind of setting in my corner. And there I am test burning a candle. All right, here is that desk I was just telling you about. But you can see the desk. So the center part is where those three drawers are, and you can see how it folds. Both sides will fold down. So if you're looking for something for small space, this works fantastically. And it does give you the storage. The drawers are fairly deep, so I can fit a lot in these drawers. Okay, so if we take a tour over here, taking a different look at my storage. So on the top, these are my packing supplies. So I've kind of put the things that I don't need on a regular basis up top. The next one, I have some different jars and the smaller packaging boxes and some of the wrapping paper. And then I keep the tins and I keep my labels and some more jars, fragrances and wicks and dye. And then I have all of my stuff for making candles elsewhere. And that's my wax and my Presto pot and all of the other parts that go along with it. And one thing I found that does work really nicely if you're storing something in a different room than your kitchen is a big bin like this. And I have in here I have my gun for melting. I have some beeswax. I have glue guns. I have pouring pitchers and spoons. I have my smaller ladle. So just staying organized and knowing where everything is will keep it easy so that when I do have to run back and forth from the kitchen, I can have everything handy without having to dig for it. This is the inside of my closet, and you can see this is the huge bag I bought of these peanuts, but you don't need to because you can see I've got a small bag here, and then this box is literally filled from candle wick with these same peanuts. So if you don't need to right away, I wouldn't spend the money because a lot of the things you buy are going to come packaged in that. Okay, so we do have a guest bedroom that has become the room where I cure all of my candles. So I have them separated in the room by cure dates. I have a box where I've started prepping some things for our next run of candles. And then I have various candles, in the boxes and in different places. And the reason I keep them in the boxes is because if somebody does come and I need the room, I can pick these boxes up and move them to a different room. And it'll be my bedroom. But, I've got the labels on them. I have my testing sheets with them. So I keep everything in this room, and it becomes my candle room and my storage room. And this is where the magic will happen. So on the stove, we usually have the double boiler going. In this small area right here, we'll set up the different mats and we'll have a pouring pitcher. I'll have a scale. I actually have two scales. So I'll have like a scale here. I'll have the other scale here, one for wax or both for fragrance. And we will do our melting, move it right over to here, and then take it from the station here, and it will come over here to this area. And one thing that I have learned is that granite will cool your candles too quickly, so you don't want to keep it on granite. But we'll do those cardboard boxes like you saw. And it'll come over to this area, and we just have this area here where we can prep our candles. So this is where we do our wicking, our cleaning the bottles, measuring out the wax, getting everything ready. And then you can see kind of around my island here, I do have testing sheets. And then even my dining room table here, and you can see it's got wax on. Oh, and for my filming, I move around here. This is kind of where I cram myself into. So I have a light ring, which I will actually give you a link to as well. It's fantastic. It does raise and lower, but you can see for my seat, I am sitting on these little wooden chair that I actually got from IKEA when I bought my desk. The one thing I do like about this chair and the reason I bought it, I've never done it, is see this hole right here? They actually, in the IKEA store, had this hanging on a wall because they were showing it in a small space to use with that folding desk. So they actually had hooks on the wall so that when you folded up your desk and you put it away, you could hang up the chair. And there was two of them kind of offset from each other so that they were using it as wall decoration too. So if you do have a small space and you're thinking, how the heck am I going to fit that in there? That was a great idea from IKEA. So that's what I have for you today. I just kind of wanted to give you a tour of how I'm doing things now. Maybe you can get some ideas on what could be helpful for you. Maybe not. But starting out, it's also partially a journey for me to be able to take a look back, and hopefully I'll be able to grow my business into something larger someday. And I'll be able to say, oh yeah, I remember when. But I know it's hard. I know it is hard to look at the space you have and you have your house set up just so, and you have things just the way you like them. And now you're going to mix it all up. And I know the stress of that because I'm a neat freak and I like to have things extremely organized. And even when this gets unorganized, it makes me a little, ah. Thanks for coming along today. I enjoyed showing you a little bit of my house and my workspace. Any questions or comments or things you want me to talk about, please drop them in the comments. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button and become part of the channel. So until next time, make sure that you're living your life out loud, and I will see you soon. Bye.